Good morning on this Labor Day. I have a little tweak there. I'm not getting organized before I hit the button to record. So we are off and starting on this great week. I think you're going to find it a very exciting week. But before we talk about that, let me remind you that your week 2 assignment, your discussion board post, and your content report. Some of you need to go back and check your content report because you have not checked the percentage of reading and videos that you've done the first 2 weeks. So please be sure to do that. So those are all due tonight, 11:59 Chicago time. So be sure you have those taken care of. Thanks for those that have already posted. I really appreciate it, and I will be grading later in the day. This week 3 is a very interesting week for me because I found a few years ago in a church where I went to serve, I think it was an interim position, that in the office they had this list of agencies that help people in various ways. So that if somebody called and needed help with a utility bill, I knew who to call. Some government agencies, a friend of mine, Sharon, worked there. They helped with rent needing to be paid, also helped with finding low-cost housing and utility payments. So some of them are multiple, and it just was so helpful when a person called to ask for help. I knew by looking at the list, this is who I should refer them to. Sometimes I referred them to a couple of agencies, but I had their phone number and their address right there where I could give it to, and it'd be very helpful to the person, even though I didn't give money. So that's a good thing to develop. So it's for your community. Don't you use my samples. I have a sample paper, a link, and I want you to follow that exact sample the way I put it there, so that you have the name, the website, the phone number, the address, and anything else that you can put about them to provide the kind of help that you want to be able to pass on to somebody who calls you. You'll find it very helpful, and you'll really value having that list. And it's something you can share with your church or with your pastor, that probably they will value your input. Then when we get to our discussion board, we're going to talk about what did you gain, what did you learn from doing this research, and how can it help you in your ministry, and what did you learn about the diversity of the kinds of help that are available to people. In the discussion board, I want you to focus on help beyond food and clothes. Obviously, in your list, you will include food and clothes. Like I began mine with the food bank here in Bloomington Normal. For some of you, when you're in a community like where I live, 135,000, I can pretty much focus in town. But if I lived in McLean, which is about 25-30 miles away, I'm going to have to expand to the county, or maybe a couple counties, to be able to get 10 agencies. But do the project at least 10 agencies and requested information. Our reading this week, some of you have taken the course Cultural Dynamics of Congregational Ministry with me, and we use this book by Crouch, Culture Making. You have a PDF of one of the chapters. We will also be reading another chapter in Jacobson, chapter 4. And his question is, where are you now? Sometimes I think the biggest blunder that pastors and church leaders make is that they come to a new ministry and they try to force their culture on the ministry setting. Wait a minute, I'm the new boy in the community. I need to learn their culture, and as I learn their culture, I may be able to tweak it from some of my past experiences. But if I demand that people in Wyoming become like my Bloomington normal culture, I am building barriers when I try to coerce them to become like I was. And then Fodor's book on neighborhood mapping is a great book. Read the introduction and the first 3 chapters. I think you'll find it very interesting. So, have a great week. Have a great Labor Day. And you keep looking up to our Lord Jesus Christ for his help and guidance.